Okay, so this is going to be my rundown of sandbags and etc. For the ultimate suck. I want to make a video of all the things that I recommend that you do for convenience and carrying, because one of the things that gets a lot of people is carrying stuff. They don't practice carrying it, they don't practice packing, and that'll slow you down big time. They also don't practice rucking enough. So I'm going to show you how to make a good sandbag. This is one of my littler ones here. Essentially what I ended up doing is I went to Home Depot and I bought, I think it was a 40-pound bag of sand. And you can measure it out, weigh it, go get a scale to see, because Suck asks you for 50-pound sandbags. And you could essentially, I'll show you my 50-pound sandbags and what I ended up doing that. But you could see kind of how I went about this, and how I do it. The tighter and the smaller it is, the better. I started off doing my horizontals and getting it nice and tight, and then I did the upper part going across like this all the way around a bunch of times, and then I did my long way several times, and then I started doing like a lattice work, because I think it retains, because in the suck you're going to be throwing these things around, so if it's going to hit the ground, if you have it all horizontal or you have it all vertical, it's going to explode, and that's going to do you in. So you can see kind of how I went about doing that lattice work, and that works pretty well. And that's my 40-pound bag. It's light, or it's not light, it's 40 pounds, but it fits in my backpack really nice, and pretty much all my training I use this guy. I don't put the 50-pound in there until the big show, just because it's easier to carry in my backpack than the 50-pound. So here's my two 50-pound ones. You can see they're a little bit bigger. And what I did, and they've taken a lot of abuse. In fact, this one is the one that I use primarily out of my ruck. And you can see the love for this, but one of the best things that I learned to do is put handles on my stuff. And the way I went about doing that is, in the first when I first make it, I have my bag of sand in here, and I believe what I ended up doing is I took a 40-pound bag of sand, and then I took another 10-pound bag of sand, and I found basically the toughest stuff that I can put sand in, plastic wise, and I compiled both of them in there. And then I took some paracord and basically did kind of some cross work around it to make sure that like it doesn't slip and slide when I pick it up. So you can see there, so just so that the handles are in there. And then I also put some PVC pipe handlebars in there, just so you have something to grip, because rope wears on your hands and it kind of grows in there, or kind of pinches your hands a little bit. So always have a nice good handle like so. So same concept, zigzagged. You can see I ran out of the red tape here, but I went vertical and then horizontal, and then I did lattice work. It's a little trickier when you have handles to do the ends, and probably one of the things you got to be careful of when you're doing that is that that when you're moving things around, that this doesn't rip the tape. So you got to really build a big solid foundation of tape work right here, and then you do everything back and forth. And you don't want water to creep in there either, because that'll just make your sandbag even heavier. One thing I've been kind of experimenting with, and I might do it next year, is have a smaller bag like this, a smaller one that I made out of sand like that, and then put a couple 5-pound plates in it, and have that as my primary one that I keep in my backpack, just so it's smaller. And that might do the trick, because you only basically do things with these. You might put 2 in the buckets, but 99% of the time you'll only have 1 sandbag in your backpack, and that's about it. And then the other one you do physical activity with. So I might toy around with that concept later on. I don't know how Joe would react to that, but if he doesn't know, it doesn't hurt him. This is my buddy bag, military duffel bag filled with half your weight in dirt. I don't recommend using dirt. Dirt sucks. It gets wet and it gets heavier. Even though these bags are pretty waterproof. I do have sand in it, but the best thing you can do, and I'm going to do this when I do the suck and the ultimate suck again, is use rubber. Because rubber doesn't absorb anything, and it form fits to you, and it's far more comfortable. What usually gets people lugging this thing around isn't so much of the weight, it's just it gets really uncomfortable. Also too, you see I have mine taped up right here. That's because the sand will fall out. Really twist it and tape it tight, and then you'll be all right. It's you just gotta be careful with those things, the sand coming out, and the comfort thing. Like I said, Joe says it's a big no-no to use these shoulder straps. Don't use them, and they get in the way. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to cut them off, unless you have objections to that. So that takes care of the bags here. I'm going to show you another video about how to put it all together. Oh, I should probably point out one other thing too. Buckets. Tape your buckets here and probably on the bottom too. I go a little bit further, and I made my own handles because the handles that come will break on you, and I like having a bigger handle grip, just a little bit more convenient for you. And bucket tops are good because you'll do things with water, and if the water spills, you might have to go back or something like that. I've never had it happen, but a top of a bucket's not a bad idea. And wrist straps. If you have wrist straps, that'll save you a ton of time on bucket carries, and just a little bit less pain on your grip. You can carry it a little bit longer. Okay, next video will be packing.